Welcome to a very special episode of Lost the Plot. Ooh, your boy is rusty. What do I usually do here? My name is Dave. Let me introduce my co-host, Ado. What's up, man?
Welcome back to another episode of Lost the Plot, an Irish podcast where two Irish lads talk absolute shite about Lost. The tagline, dude.
The tagline,
you gotta do the tagline.
Of course, even on a bonus episode, you have to tag it. All right, we got two very special people here with us, and I don't want to waste any time in introducing them. Everyone, please give a warm welcome wherever you are listening to this. You might be on the bus, you might be in work. I want you to give a round of applause wherever you're sitting for Lacy and Ben of the Lost in My 40s podcast.
Hi.
Welcome, guys.
I love how you said two very special people. I like to say one very special person and let them decide which it is.
Smart.
I want to hear them fight it out over the course of this episode.
Yeah.
It better be me. I'm the one that talks to you every day.
Who knows? Maybe I'm sick of you at this point.
It would be fun, start surfacing relationship issues early in the episode. Good content. Good content.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us here today. The pretense for this episode is that we're going to sort of discuss season 1 of Lost overall. Who knows if we'll actually get to that? But you guys are from Lost in My 40s, like I said, our rival podcast. I'm known on this pod. Why don't you tell anyone who is not familiar with your podcast, and shame on you if you're not, why don't you tell them a little bit about your show, first of all?
Ben, you want me to do it? Or you want to go?
Oh, you probably are better with these sort of
well,
responses.
it was kind of my idea. So here's the extremely short version. This thing happened, COVID. You've probably heard of it. And we were stuck at home and thought that we were going to make ourselves podcasters. And so we didn't actually start with Lost in My 40s. There are two others. I have a Facebook page that I run that's called Zero Shame 40s that I started right when I turned 40. And it kind of took off and I got talked into doing podcasts by some of my followers. So we started with Zero Shame Stories, which is me interviewing my friends and family and about like interesting and fascinating things in their lives. And then we also have Mawage, spelled Mawwage, which is basically just Ben and I talking about our relationship. That was a limited series. It's over now. And we named ourselves Spacebear Media. And
I
so
need you to clear something up. I'm really sorry to interrupt, but
yeah.
Is it a play on Spacebar?
No. So I heard you guys, I heard you talking about that in your pod. And remember when I said before we started that I had 3 things to talk about today? Mm-hmm. One of them is the meaning of Spacebear Media.
Oh, so
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Finish the story.
Right. So we became Spacebear Media and we put those 2 podcasts out basically at the same time. We had no idea what we were doing. And it was sort of trial by fire. We figured a few things out. And during the course of it, I started to have a little idea. Lost has always been one of my favorite shows. I have watched it. I watched it when it was first on, and I was in my 20s. And then I've watched it a few times since then. And I had a really best friend who I knew when I lived in Baltimore. She still does have a best friend. I do. I do. So I asked her, I knew that she was a fan of Lost. And I messaged her one day and I was like, hey, I want to do a Lost rewatch podcast. I want to call it Lost in My 40s. We're all in our 40s now. Like, it's just perfect. She immediately said yes. And of course, I roped Ben into it. So we needed a 4th. I wanted 4 hosts and I wanted a hook. And at first I wanted somebody who hated the show to be kind of like a counterpoint. But roughly at the same time I was having the idea.
But those generally aren't very good people to begin with. Like,
I know, but I'm saying it was the first idea that came into my head.
Are you saying that people hate Lost?
I'm saying that people that don't like Lost aren't worth knowing. That's it.
Agreed.
That's it.
Explains why I don't know any of them.
Yeah. So while this is all happening at the same time, I was interviewing Ben's really good friend that he's known from living in Texas for the same amount of time that I know my best friends. So this is Christy and Derek, which you guys have met. And so I was interviewing Derek for Zero Shame Stories, and he seemed to like enjoy the process. So I just kind of asked him out of curiosity, hey, Derek, do you happen to like the show Lost? And he responded, I've never seen it. And I was like, fuck, that's it.
There's your angle.
That's it. That's the angle. So we talked Derek into it. So it's the 4 of us and we're going through episode by episode. He has never seen it, so we don't do spoilers on ours. Occasionally we earmuff him. And so we can't hear anything. And yeah, so that's the hook of our show. And I happened to be promoting it on Reddit one day, and I made this big post about our new podcast, and in the comments comes Ado, and he's like, hey.
Absolutely fucking disgusted. Dave and I had literally, no, I'm sorry, bone to pick here. Dave and I had literally set this up, and here's two fucking Yanks starting their own bloody podcast. The exact, I could not tell you.
Can I also, this might be new information, but I had plugged our podcast on Reddit like maybe 2 weeks beforehand
really?
Absolute fucking crickets. Like not a single comment or upvote, zero interaction at all. I ended up deleting the post out of shame. I'll get Ada, our head of marketing, on this shit so he can show him how it's done.
Well, so I didn't see that post. I had never been on Reddit before. I created the account to go on there. We had been out for a few weeks. I think we were in maybe episode 8 at the time. And I was just looking for other ways to promote it. And it suddenly clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, there must be a Lost page on Reddit. I'll figure that out. And so I did that. And yeah, people commented on it. And I was blown away because there were 2 people that commented that said, holy shit, I'm listening to this podcast. I love it. And I was like, oh my God, somebody likes it. I can't believe it. And then there was Ado. And so, yeah, I started listening to your guys' podcast. And I was like, Ben, they're really fucking funny. I'm going to invite them on ours. And that's how we met.
Okay, so I got to backtrack a little bit. I think I oversold the annoyance. I was
my God, stop it. This is what
it was more impressed at the sheer coincidence and the timing of it.
Ado is so funny. Amazing. He does this to me all the time. Ado and I have become good friends. We talk every few days, sometimes all day long, on voice notes on WhatsApp. And he does this all the time. He talks shite about Lost in my 40s. And then he comes back and he goes, I didn't mean it.
Okay, actual kind of semi-legitimate bone to pick.
Isn't that sort of an abusive cycle?
Yes,
it sounds like it.
You're starting to sound like my ex-wife. All right, pipe down.
What bone do you have to pick, Ado?
Isn't it, like, Dave, wouldn't you agree? Isn't it absolutely disgusting how a lot of their branding focuses on the in my 40s thing, and these cunts look younger than we do? That is what this fucking podcast has done to us. It has aged me horribly.
I've visibly aged for sure. All those late nights editing.
Oh yeah.
That time I called in sick to my actual job so that I could edit an episode.
Did you really?
I should be working. I should be working right now.
Yeah, that's true. It's we're recording at about 11 a.m. our time, so it's definitely work day.
We're all hard committed to this thing that makes us no money at all.
Yeah.
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 I know. But when we started, I had these grand ideas when we first started Spacebear Media, and I created a Patreon because I thought like that's what you do. You're supposed to do that. And then what I realized is I never talked about it, or like I would have to force myself to mention it because I felt like such an asshole. And then eventually what happened was I came across a tweet actually that said something about how our culture is fucked up, that we think that we have to monetize our hobbies and like everything that we do. And I went, holy shit, that's right. And so we just canceled the Patreon. We have a buy me a coffee thing if people really want to do that. But yeah, I felt like, you know what? I actually really fucking love doing this. And I don't love begging for money. And so, yeah, we just like, okay, it's a hobby.
What has been our tally of coffee buys so far?
Oh, we have a whole one. We did have Patreon subscribers, though. We had several, and I had to, I just wrote to them and said, hey, we're not doing that anymore. And since then, but again, I forget to mention the buy me a coffee thing, too, most of the time, because I don't care. I don't know.
That tweet you mentioned that said, don't monetize your hobbies. I just want to make it clear that tweet does not represent the view of Lost the Plot. If you want to pay this money, please. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
I got to say, the whole idea of a Patreon is something that Dave and I keep joking about. Like, we swore that we would not do that unless it became like an actual viable thing and we ended up getting an audience, whatever. But even still, that whole conversation is just pie in the sky. We're not worried about that. We're not worried about getting listeners or an audience. We're doing this out of the love of it. That when it came to a point where we actually got 1 or 2 people on social media, on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, you might actually remember we did a competition to try and get Jorge Garcia on our podcast.
I did. I tweeted.
We knew that was never going to go anywhere, but just to get people to interact with the page, right? Now, if it did go somewhere, happy days. But no, we just were not expecting that. To the point where when we actually had people taking part in the competition, I think Dave and I sort of stopped and turned to each other. We were like, oh, wait, shit. People actually do listen to us and pay attention. Wait, what? We were not expecting this.
I hope they do. I hope we send some people your way too. And that we will, once you're on the actual pod. You, of course, appeared on our YouTube channel where we do our video pre-chats.
Pre-chats.
What the fuck?
That's how I live in Sweden, which was revealed on your podcast, and
which hasn't aired yet, and you've now talked about it twice.
And here people a lot of Swedes will pronounce CH words as sh, so they do say like shat for chat.
Oh,
the funniest one I heard is I worked with a guy who said chemicals, and I'm like, we don't even say a ch sound for that word.
Oh wow, like as in chemicals? That's
he said chemicals.
Chemicals.
I love listening to the Chemical Brothers.
My chemical romance.
Oh boy. So anyways, we're spacebearmedia.com if you want more about us. I'm assuming some people that are listening to this also listen to us. I know we both have a fan, Paul. Remember, I know that Paul emailed you. He emailed us as well. We mentioned him on one of our video chats. And then I heard you guys read an email from him. I was like, hey, I know that guy.
Shout out to Paul.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from him since, but we would love to again. Hope you're doing well, Paul. Lacy, I wanted to rewind a little bit. You mentioned you had that Facebook page, No Shame, and then No Shame in My 40 Stories. Are you comfortable with sharing any sort of I don't know how this works. Is it like people will send you stories and you sort of read them out confidentially, or?
No. So the page is basically my blog. It's called Zero Shame 40s. I started it like 11 days before I turned 40. I was going through a lot emotionally. Then Ben and I were trying to have kids, and I'm infertile, and I was going through IVF, and it was just a really rough time in my life. You can hear about that on Mowage. It's episode something or other called 2017, a shitwagon year, about all the stuff that I was going through. Well,
though to be fair, on marriage, most people are just really into the non-monogamy stuff.
Oh yeah, that's why people listen to it, because Ben and I are not monogamous, and that's a lot of what that podcast is about. But the page, I just started it basically as a blog, and I talk about mental illness, and I talk about being non-monogamous, and I talk about being an atheist, and all the things that there are people out there that relate, but it's like stuff you don't talk about. So the page got really big, but the podcast, it's not strangers. The Zero Shame Stories, it's all of my friends and my family that allow me to interview them. I'm booking season 2 right now. Well, I wanted season 2 to come out a few months after season 1, but it's been a year now because we just got so wrapped up in the Lost podcast.
We started doing 3 without knowing what we were doing. We started basically producing 3 podcasts.
3 podcasts at like the same time.
Yeah. Not the best move.
Yeah. But so I had people on, like I had my friend Isabel, who is doing her neurology residency, or entered her neurology residency right as COVID hit. So she talked about working in a hospital with COVID. My friend Becky, who is a teacher, talked about teaching during COVID. Some friends that have multiple sclerosis talked about that. My cousin, who is working, he's a scientist, trying to help climate change. We talked about that.
That was one of my favorites. That was a great episode.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a sex worker, Ben's cousin who does homeschooling. It's just like random. I don't know if any of your friends or listeners like industrial music, but Ben and I are friends with Tom Shear, who's also known as Assemblage 23. He let me interview him about music in the pandemic. And then, of course, like I said, Derek, who's on Lost in My 40s, was on it. Derek was actually the victim of a murder for hire plot that he survived. And so we talked about that. So it's just interesting kind of things that happen in people's lives. And so I'm working on a season 2. Again, it's going to be all friends and family. Just And so that's basically that. And then Marriage is just about Ben and I, and we talk about relationship stuff. It's sort of like every other episode. There's like a PG and then an X-rated. So we do like talk about marriage stuff, talk about non-monogamy stuff, and it goes every other. If you do listen to that, you'll hear me talk about Patreon in it.
I think it's R-rated.
It's R. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's side boob, sort of like it's not graphic.
Don't listen to the kids.
That's true. We talk about experiences, but we don't talk about like the gory details, just about what it's like to date other people while you're married, basically. So
okay, awesome. So look at that. Anyone who's not aware of Spacebear Media's existence, who wasn't before listening to this podcast, now you have so much content to consume.
Yeah, well, and we have more content coming. As you know, I am working on a 4th podcast right now in September. We're going to do a video podcast on our YouTube channel. It's a reaction video to Amazon's new Lord of the Rings show, Rings of Power.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
And of course, I can't remember if you guys have even talked about this, but it will be starring Ben and I and Ado and Dave. I have talked you into doing this podcast with us.
Reveal!
I believe that is the official announcement on our podcast.
Woo! Yes. Yeah. So there you go. We haven't talked about it much. I think I said something on one of our video pods, but we'll start promoting it more in a few months. I'm busy trying to figure out the format for it. And
it's going to be me talking shit the whole time. That's the format, because I can't watch a really good movie generally, or anything that's quality. The first time I watch it, I think it sucks.
Oh,
if it's garbage, I'll be like, yeah, when I first see it. But if anything that's really, really good takes me a couple of views. So if we're actually getting our sort of honest reactions of the first time we watch it, I'm going to be like, yeah, this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I don't buy it.
I'm wondering if we're going to hate it, which is going to be fine. Like we're going to want honest reactions to it.
I was thinking that it might suck, which would also be fun. I think.
I almost want it to be bad, because I think it's going to make for way better content.
Please tune into the first episode of that, where we will be abandoning Lacy's planned format entirely and confronting her with an intervention for her addiction to starting podcasts.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
before
true,
wrapping up the previous one. That's the real issue.
So yeah, I'm super psyched for that. We bought some video editing software, and I'm learning how to use it, and it's gonna be fun.
Ooh, big fancy with the software. Look at this.
And now Ado's got a deadline to fix his webcam.
Oh shit.
Actually, yeah. I could, maybe I'll just mail you one. I'll bring you one. Speaking of, I can bring you one. By the time this airs, this may have happened, but Ado and I are gonna meet in the real world in 31 days.
And prove each other's physical existence to the other. I'm not just a voice on the internet.
Where are you meeting?
Well, where I'm going to Dublin.
That's right, yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So Ben and I, we were supposed to spend a month in Europe in June of 2020, which was canceled for obvious reasons. So we are traveling at the end of May, and I've never traveled by myself. So I wanted to leave early and go somewhere by myself for a few days and then meet Ben for the rest of the trip. And when we met you guys, I had the trip narrowed down to 4 cities, which were, now I can't even remember. Lyon, France, Ghent, Belgium, Lisbon, Portugal, and the 4th one was Dublin. So,
and the choice was fucking obvious.
So once we met you guys and I knew Ado lived there, I was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to Dublin. So
if you had not picked Dublin, I would have started official beef between one podcast and the other. This would have been turf war right here, right now.
I mean, why pick sunny Portugal, cultured France, beautiful Belgium, when you could go to Ireland?
Well, I'm happy to go to Ireland. I am part O'Neill. I claim a little bit of Ireland for myself, like Americans like to do.
Here it comes.
Here goes the appropriation.
Hashtag plastic patties.
That's why you knew it wasn't in the UK, right?
Oh my God. Should we talk about that? Oh my God. It was like, you guys, when I saw that, I was like, did I really say that? And I looked back and I was like, holy shit, I did. And then I was like, oh, these guys are never going to talk to us now. For anyone who doesn't know what's happening, you talked about it on your pod. I said Ireland was part of the UK, like an idiot.
Yeah, well, I hope you don't mind me revealing, but very shortly before we started recording, Lacy revealed to me that she was on the verge of possibly coming into a pub here in Dublin and ordering a black and tan.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. I messaged Ado today because something popped in my head, and I thought, I wonder if the drink, the Irish car bomb, is an American thing and is offensive in Ireland. So I double checked with him, and yes, it is very offensive in Ireland, which is not surprising at all.
I mean, to the extent that Irish people can be offended, which I would argue is not much.
Okay, well, but still, I mean, it's kind of rude. And when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that's actually awful. But then he blew my fucking mind and told me that I also can't have
the black
a Guinness and black and tan. Yeah, I didn't know that was American.
Yeah, the drinks of black and tan and Irish car bomb are actually the fastest way to earn oneself a slap in the mouth over here in Ireland.
But hold on, I'm not aware of this black and tan drink. What is that?
Oh.
I've never heard of that.
It's layered. It's Guinness and then
Bass
on the top, at least here. And it's it's cool because Guinness sinks and then it's on the top, and so it looks black and tan. And I don't know. I had no idea that that's a thing. Like if you go to anywhere for St. Patrick's Day, that's what's going to be on special: black and tans and Irish car bombs, because Americans are really good at being offensive in our ignorance. Like it's just kind of how we roll.
I mean, to be fair, like there's going to be a whole lot that we don't know about the geography of the United States as well. Irish people love to, like, I had this really interesting experience when I lived in Toronto, where I worked in a really diverse office, like people from a lot of backgrounds. And I was casually talking about Ireland one day, and I mentioned how it was an island, and this colleague was black. She had a Trinidad background, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't know Ireland was an island." And I was like, "Excuse me, what?" And I sort of polled people around the office.
Where did you think it was? I don't understand.
Well, here's the thing. I sort of polled people around the office, and it became pretty apparent that obviously there were exceptions, but a lot of people didn't know it was an island, and a lot of these people were non-white people. And I realized that, if you don't have a European background, like I don't know fuck all about Africa or the Caribbean islands, right? And the geography, like, why would you care about that? It's not like this, like it's not in your orbit, your cultural orbit when you grow up. So I mean, even taking away the race angle here, like, I don't know, you guys, it's not like they're teaching you in school, okay, well, you better not say that Ireland's part of the UK.
The thing is so many of those islands were English colonies anyway. So you would expect that maybe, if they knew a bit about the crown, that they'd know a bit about Ireland as well. But they'd probably look at the UK on a map and go, oh, hey, there's an island right next to there. What is that? Oh,
exactly.
Maybe not.
But I think the point I'm trying to make is there's not really much point in getting offended when people don't know things.
Yeah, but just to backtrack a little bit, Dave, you said that we're very good at not being offended. Mm-hmm. I mean, just tell any Irish person that Ireland is part of the British Isles and just watch the reaction. Geographically, like if you look at the two islands of Great Britain and Ireland, together they are listed on maps as the British Isles, but fucking no Irish person will ever acknowledge this.
That's, I think, what was happening in my brain when I said, well, so the whole story, you guys appear on episode 12 of season 2, and it's a Charlie episode. And in my brain, I just linked Charlie and you guys. And so UK came out, but I think it was all jumbled up because part of it is Dominic Monaghan, like his name is Irish, but he's English, but he's also a Hobbit. And it just all got confused in my head because I always thought the Hobbits always seemed like they were like the Irish in the Lord of the Rings universe to me, and it just all got mixed up. And so I blurted out Ireland's part of the UK like an idiot. And I know the difference. 3 of my 4 grandparents, they're no longer alive, but they were all European. So I grew up learning about that history. So I should have known better. I'm apparently never going to live it down.
Yeah, but the funny thing is Dominic Monaghan is German.
Is he?
Oh, his parents are, but I think he was born in Ireland, but then moved to England.
Other way around. British parents, born in Germany, moved back to Britain when he was 11.
Yeah.
Monaghan's it just has exactly an Irish name.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a county Monaghan in Ireland.
Yeah, full of farmers.
On that note, Ado, of Irish people not being offended, also, and we can move on after this, but also when a British TV channel will claim an Irish sportsman or sports person as British, we're pretty up in arms then.
They also claim Graham Norton, right? Isn't Graham Norton Irish?
Look,
we went through
here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to bring up. People like Graham Norton, people like what's his name? The golfer from up north, one of the
Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy, right?
He's a prick.
These big guys from Northern Ireland, we will claim them when it fucking suits us, even though they're technically part of the UK, right?
I want the record to state that Graham Norton is not from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, we went through this.
No, he's
our episode.
He's Cork, isn't he?
He's from Cork, yeah. He couldn't be less Northern Ireland.
Liam Neeson.
There you go.
There's a Nordy for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Nordies?
That's what we call them, yeah.
That is an affectionate term for those from Northern Ireland.
Oh, I like that accent.
Let's get on to a bit of Lost, folks.
It's about time.
Yeah, we can still have these casual chats, of course. I just was wondering about your guys' history with the show. Lacy, you said you watched it in your 20s. Did both of you watch it on the original airing?
Yes.
I actually didn't. I watched
You watched half of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched like the first season on the original airing, but then I ended up moving. I had lived in Texas prior, and I ended up moving up to where we are now in the Northwest during the first airing. So I missed a bit of it and then caught back up on it with, I think I had gotten the DVDs or something like that about a year later and watched through it.
And then we watched it together once when we were early on dating. And by that time, it was like my third watch through, I think.
And that was my second.
Yeah. So yeah, I've watched it a few times.
Awesome.
And actually it wasn't my full second because the first time, even when I went to the DVDs, I don't think I got to season 5 or 6. I've actually only seen those last couple seasons. I've actually only seen those once, and I don't really remember them because it was a long time ago.
Okay, here is a younger person asks older person the question. What was it like to be in your... Because I remember I watched it on the original airing as well, but I was a teenager. You know, my brain wasn't fully developed. I didn't have critical thinking. What wasn't developed? Still isn't. How aware were you of how special this was for the time? Of how I don't know, like unique and like did you watch a lot of TV around then?
You know, Lost was the only reason I still had TV by the end of it. And
Same.
once the show was over, I got rid of. That's the last time I had cable.
Yeah.
And that was even before streaming was really popular. It was just like I was just done with the TV. But I waited until Lost was over to do that. It was like the only reason that I had cable because I wasn't going to miss it. I was obsessed.
Yeah, it felt like it was heads and shoulders above anything else on network TV at the time.
Oh yeah.
Like this was the point where, I mean, where we were talking, like when did the Sopranos come out and when did some of the HBO programming start coming out?
Yeah.
It was kind of around.
Sopranos was late 90s.
Yeah, 99 was the first season of Sopranos.
Yeah. So like we were at a point now where HBO was starting to ramp up the kitty with I mean, they had some great shows. So I felt like this was one of the only shows on network television that could kind of go toe to toe with the stuff that they were doing over there on HBO. So yeah. I thought it was immediately special.
It was on the same time, I think, as 6 Feet Under on HBO, which was another show that I was completely obsessed with. But like he's right, yeah, like Lost. It was the only thing on television at that time that could really keep up. And there were other shows that were on that I was watching, but that was the premium, and I was obsessed with the show. Absolutely obsessed. And I'm one of the people that thinks the ending is perfect, and I will argue that until I die.
Agreed.
And when we get there, I'm so looking forward just to what Derek has to say. It's wild to like live vicariously through him. He's loving the show, and I can't wait to see what he thinks. But we're gonna have several special episodes on just Lacy arguing why the ending is the best ending it could have been. But so I was like #1 top fan when it was on.
Okay, yes, Lacy, it's interesting. You and I watched it on the first airing, and I guess Ben, you watched part of it on the first airing, but you were mostly catching up, and that's what Ado did as well. So we've kind of got like one of each year. And then these original airings led us to where we are now, where we both have lost podcasts.
I know, it's weird.
I forgot to ask you about the Spacebear Media, the name you were going to tell us.
Right. Okay. So Spacebear is a nickname.
It's a testament to my sloth.
It's a nickname that I have for Ben, and it came about. I don't know if you have, I guess you haven't seen him stand up, but Ben is very tall, and he's also extremely hairy, and he moans a lot. And so early on in our relationship, I started calling him
I'm bemoaning my hairy self.
Started calling him my bear because he'd like stretch in bed, go like a Wookiee. And so I called him a bear. Well, a few years later, he got obsessed with this video game, Kerbal Space Station. Is that what it's called then?
Kerbal Space Program.
Space Program. And so you're like people in space. It's a very technical game that I don't understand. And he got lost in it, and he was just he was in there in the game
lost
for so much that I started calling him my space bear. And so that was the nickname for a few years. And when I went to name our little venture, I went with Spacebear Media, and that is the story.
Love it.
This is where we're announcing the launch of Lost the Plot Media.
No. Lost the Plot is a program, and we got to come up with some new conglomerate name for all of the non-existent podcasts we're going to be adding on to it. This is what's happening. We're going to have a business meeting right here, right now, in about an hour and a half. Once we finish recording, we're going to be doing this. I'm telling you. Watch this space, guys.
How about Dutch Gold?
Dutch Gold Media.
There you go.
Nectar of the Gods. I wish I had a can with me now. Fuck, I should have pre-gamed this.
No, wait, what was the name? What was the name of that that little move you taught us about, like jerking each other off? What was that called?
Oh, Dutch Lever.
The Dutch Lever Media.
Dutch Lever Media. There we go.
So anyone who hasn't listened to that episode, I feel we should describe in detail what a Dutch lever is.
Go right ahead.
Because we got, what was it? Did we get a voice note from your mother, Dave, on how disappointed she was?
I don't think she was disappointed. I think she was pretty entertained by it, actually.
But theoretically, if you imagine if I were to grip Dave's hardened shaft with one hand, and he was to grip my limp little 2-incher, right, with his hand, and then if I use my free hand to grab his wrist, and he uses his free hand to grab my wrist without actually touching my own penis, I'm jerking myself off with his hand, and he's jerking himself off with mine. That is the Dutch lever right there, folks. And you can add multiple people to it. You can do a full-on circle jerk thing with this. It works. You can ramp it up. It's amazing.
I'm so turned on, guys.
I have that effect.
You might be asking yourself, is it gay? And the answer is sexuality is a spectrum. It doesn't matter.
What
nature does not like
I didn't have that question. I had the question of why is it Dutch?
They get all the cool shit like Dutch courage from drinking, Dutch oven, farting in the bed. I don't know why they have all this cool shit.
I don't either. But, you know, my family's Dutch, so I wonder about these things sometimes.
I'm going to throw the theory out there, and this is just off the top of my head, that the Dutch lever in particular is called Dutch because of their sort of like marvels of engineering to prevent flooding in that country.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. They do like their levees and dikes for sure.
Mm-hmm. Dutch levy. So, you know, the pretense for doing this is that we talk about season 1 of Lost. I think we can maybe move on and talk about it a little bit if you guys are game.
Sure. Yeah.
Nearly an hour into this.
Hey, that's how we do, baby. That's the Lost the Plot way. What did everybody, and maybe we'll go around the forum, and we'll start with Lacy. What did everybody think of it overall, like as a season of television? Maybe discounting everything that comes afterwards, just season 1 of Lost. Give me your headline thoughts.
Yeah, so you asked us to rank them, which I don't know that I can do that because I love them all for different reasons. But season 1 of Lost, when it aired, was the best thing on television. It was the best thing I'd ever seen. It was a whole new format, a new way to watch television. It was a lot like when The Matrix came out, and it was just like, what is this? They
both have White Rabbit references.
They do. That's funny. But it's just like, it was just new. It's unique. It was nothing I'd ever seen before. And I was completely blown away. I was hooked on episode 1. And that was it. I think, Ben, you said it was Walkabout that got you, which I think is the most common answer when people say, when did you get hooked? It's at that episode. But it blew me away. It's still, I mean, look at what I'm doing 20 years later, podcast about it. Yeah.
Ada and Ben, any thoughts to add to that?
On rewatching it, I was surprised at how well it stood up. You know, I've gone back and watched a lot of shows that I enjoyed back in the day, and I was like, this is dog shit. Like really, really shows that just did not age well. There's some cringe stuff in here, like some of Sawyer's aspersions that he, or some of his cute nicknames for Saeed and stuff. There's a little bit of cringe there.
That's aged super well.
Yeah, some of the most of it is Sawyer. Honestly, most of it's just some of the things he says is a bit cringe, but at the same time, it's like, it was a product of its age, and we were living in sort of a post 9/11 world at that point. All in all, I mean, the attention to detail in the show, the means of like running a lot of parallel narratives and creating kind of mirrors within the actual narratives, where characters reflect themselves, or one character's past reflects another character's present. They do a lot of really, really cool shit in there, and they keep throwing these little Easter eggs in, like the hatch and all these other things, the smoke monster, that just get you going, what the fuck am I watching? They're kind of cheap tricks in a lot of ways, but it's really effective, and it makes for really, really great television. I think it still does.
Well, one thing that I would pick up on what you just said there, Ben, is that a lot of, particularly with the character of Sawyer, and a lot of his nicknames for Saeed are a bit cringe now these days. I'd actually argue that they were kind of cringe at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
But intentionally so, just to highlight how much of a dickhead he is, to make him this unlikable character that, it was such a deliberate effort at the time, to make him unlikable to the audience, and then through his flashbacks and his backstory, and just watching him grow and be this hated member of the cast, just watch him grow and develop from there, that he'd sort of win us back over, while occasionally still referring to Saeed as, I don't know, like Abdul or whatever, you still kind of cringe it a little bit, but we're watching Sawyer actually attempt to become a better person. Maybe not so much in this season, but it does happen down the line a little bit. Like he does win us back over more.
He has some redeeming moments in season one, but he leaves being on the chaotic neutral and sort of just being a prick most of the season.
We just finished recording season 2, and so Sawyer kind of goes back to his old ways in season 2 for a certain time, but then his character does grow.
It is interesting to watch the two sort of redemption arcs parallel each other in season 1, which are Sawyer and Jin. Like you said, I don't think Sawyer's is quite shifts as dramatically as Jin's. He's still kind of an asshole at the end of season 1, whereas Jin, like my girlfriend has just started watching Lost. She's watching through it for the first time because we did the podcast, and the first thing she texted me after the first 1 or 2 episodes she watched was, I hate that Asian lady's husband. Something like that, right?
Which is perfect, because you're supposed to. And like it's interesting, like we talked about it a little more. She really didn't like him because he is like a totally abusive husband. But Jin has made a complete transformation by the end of season 1.
So absolutely. This is actually a really excellent opening for one of the other things I had on the list that I wanted to talk about, because it's about Sun's episode in season 1, House of the Rising Sun.
Love a natural segue.
Yeah. So I noticed something that it blew my mind when I listened to your episode, and you guys talked about how she was packing up, that she was going to leave. When we recorded the episode, every single one of us viewed that woman as a hero, and you guys thought she was a sex trafficker, and that never crossed my mind once. And when I heard your pod, I was like, holy shit, like, yeah, that could have been what was happening. Never occurred to me. Every single time I've seen the show, I never thought of that, and it really kind of blew my mind. Yeah.
I'm gonna hand full credit for that observation over to Dave, because he blew my fucking mind.
I'm not gonna lie, like when I said that, it was tongue in cheek. Like I don't think we're supposed to think that. I'm just saying that with what we know about the world now, and if that was a real life situation, that would not be out of the realm of possibility. Again, I don't think the writers of Lost were like, ooh, maybe people will think this. No way.
That's a pretty cynical take.
But
it was just like when you said it, I thought, holy shit, that actually really that happens to women like that. And I just thought, wow, I can't believe Dave saw that and I didn't. But anyway.
my wild theories come out sometimes. There was another episode where I mentioned that maybe Shannon was on the Jeffrey Epstein Island.
Oh, you know what?
Because she knows a lot about boats and she's like 20 years old and has been with several older men.
Oh my gosh. Well, we joked, I think a few times, I don't know now if I remember if it's season 1 or 2, but we joked that the reason the others want children so bad is because they're on Epstein's Island.
Oh yeah.
So we've had the same sort of idea.
That's just a pedo paradise.
Oh God.
So I want to talk a little bit about, I have a tiny bit of trivia about season 1 of Lost overall. This is a funny one that I found. So the magazine Writers, I hope I'm saying that right.
Writers,
they dubbed Lost a, quote, hit drama. No shit. Noting that, quote, the show appeared to have benefited from an all-out marketing blitz that included radio spots, special screenings, and ABC's first billboard advertising campaign in 5 years.
Wow.
What? Yeah. Do you guys, I mean, I know in certain states in the United States, like Maine, for example, billboards are illegal. So I don't know how exposed to this you would have been. I'm guessing it's mostly around LA and New York, but do you guys happen to remember seeing any Lost billboards?
Hold on. Hold the fucking phone for a sec. Billboards are illegal in Maine?
In Maine, yeah. They think
That's
they look
cool.
shit. They ruin the
They
landscape
do look shitty.
and stuff.
They
do.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like, they've put caps. It just happens I listened to a podcast about this during the week, guys talking about this, but they've put like billboard caps in Los Angeles now because it was getting out of control.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount that can be up at once and shit like that. Yeah, they're like a scourge on America.
Yeah, the US has so many beautiful views that are ruined by seeing some cheese dick realtor on a sign.
Maynards are very protective over the way Maine looks, and that's why it looks so amazing. So that doesn't surprise me at all. Do I remember seeing billboards? I don't remember that. It doesn't mean I wouldn't have, but no.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the TV advertising was really intense. I mean, on ABC they were plugging it like constantly, but no, I don't really remember seeing signs for it.
Do you guys remember that All of Us Are Lost ad? Did you get that in the US? I think
All of Us Are Lost ad.
Yeah, I think Ado and I, we talked about this. It was either on, it wasn't on your show, right? We might have talked about it on Jimmy Purcell's podcast on Question Crunch. Shout out to Jimmy. There was this ad that aired on Channel 4, which is the UK channel that Lost started on. It actually eventually moved over to Sky One, but it was like the characters. It was sort of like this slow, really sort of art movie, like pan across all this plane wreckage, and they were all like dancing.
It was like weird as fuck.
Yeah, it was really fucking out there. It was really
I don't remember that.
No.
They were all like dancing in slow motion. Like Jack was wearing his funeral suit and everything, and there was just like a voiceover, and each of the characters were saying like one of us is a criminal, one of us is a rock star, and like all this. And then at the end,
no, I don't remember that at all.
And then at the end, a bunch of them would say all of us are lost. I just, that ad really sticks out of my head. It was an awesome ad.
Wow.
Like if they aired it here, it would have been slathered in bacon with fireworks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. That feels too subtle.
I have a few memories of the advertising in season 1, but I think the one that stands out to me the most, I guess it would have been toward the end, but it's the clip of Locke saying, "We're not the only ones on this island and we all know it."
Yeah,
that I remember was like ad nauseum, like it's coming. Yeah. Oh fuck, there's other people on the island. And that's the one that sticks out in my head.
And holy shit, in the previously on Lost segments throughout season 1, they milk that clip.
Oh yeah.
So much.
Anytime they need you to remember the others, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do kind of have to do that because they introduce so many concepts in season 1. Like it just starts off as, you know, your kind of basic Gilligan's Island, Lost, stranded, plane crash. Sorry, I just got distracted. My girlfriend just held an empty kettle in front of me as if to indicate, "Do you want coffee?" And I'm like, "Damn, Skippy." Sorry, back on track. But yeah, the show starts off basically as like, you know, survivors on an island and all this shit. And then it introduces a little bit of weirdness. You know, Jack's dad, who was dead, he's just walking around the beach occasionally. Wait, there's a polar bear. There's a monster. There's other people on the island. What's going on? There's a hatch. There's a drug plane. So it makes sense that they occasionally do have to remind the audience, hey, do you remember this little plot point? Yeah. We're going to pick this back up.
I do remember the first time you hear the monster in episode 1 pilot. I guess it's like at the very end of the episode. That's when I was hooked. That was it. That was the moment. I heard that and I was like, I'm in. What is it? This is my show. I'm ready.
Is that the
Let's
where
find it out.
in the pilot where the pilot actually gets murdered by the smoke monster?
You don't
even really see it at that point. You just know something grabs him.
But he doesn't get murdered until episode 2 or the second half of the pilot. Yeah. Okay. It's at the end of the first half where you hear, the like roller coaster sounds or whatever coming from the jungle. Yeah.
Considering how tongue-in-cheek a lot of the episode titles get, I still lament the fact that Pilot Part 2 wasn't called Co-Pilot.
Yeah.
Shout out to my brother. That was his joke.
100%. Shout out to Dave's brother.
I managed to locate that. This was a lost Channel 4 UK promo. If you look up Lost Channel 4 UK promo on YouTube, chat. I said it in the chat. Yeah, you can see it. This looks like it was directed by fucking Lars von Trier or something. Like it's really, it's just like, it's worth a look. It's a trip.
Don't worry, listeners. A link will be in the description.
Yeah, it's only got 5,000 views as of this recording as well. So, okay, a little bit more trivia about season 1 here. The first season averaged about 17.6 million American viewers overall, and it was nominated for 12 Primetime Emmy Awards.
That's a lot.
It won 6 of them. It's fucking 50%. That's a passing grade in Ireland. So I'll tell you the ones it won first. It won Outstanding Drama Series, so the big one.
Naturally.
Outstanding Casting for a Drama Series, which nobody can disagree with that. The casts are fantastic for the show. Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series was won by J.J. Abrams for the pilot.
Okay.
Of course, Outstanding Music Composition for a Series, Dramatic Underscore, went to your boy, Giacchino. The music in the show is,
it's
top
cool.
notch.
I don't know it's been topped for like just pure bangers all through by any TV show since.
The use of theme and leitmotifs in this show it's so on point how Giacchino is able to weave in, like he's able to introduce, say, a theme for a character or for a certain, sorry, I'm mixing up my words. He's able to introduce a motif for a theme in the show. Like there could be a love theme, or there could be Jack's theme, or an adventure theme, an exploration theme. And he's able to weave them in. Like he's able to weave in multiple ones at a time and have, say, Locke's theme turn into the exploration theme during a certain scene. And it's just so effortless the way he makes it seem. It's fantastic.
There's some of the most inspiring and accomplished music composition you've ever heard, and then they have names like Crocodile Lock and Booneral.
Booneral is one of the best.
It also won Outstanding Single Camera Picture Editing for a Drama Series and Outstanding Special Visual Effects for a series. I think we did complain about some of the effects during season 1. So.
We did too, because now living in the future, it's like, that bear looks ridiculous.
I was gonna say, was that in a commercial for season 1 or something where the bear jumping at the polar bear jumping at them was literally just like a rug or something
they
that they
threw a teddy bear basically at the camera. So then it was nominated for 6 more awards that it did not win. 2 of those were Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series for Terry O'Quinn and Naveen Andrews.
Well earned.
But them boys, obviously they were nominated in the same category. Do you want to take a guess who they lost to?
I
don't think you're going to get it, because this is a show that I think a lot of people have forgotten.
I want to guess.
I maybe if you gave me the show, but maybe that would be too obvious.
All right, let me give you the actor. Okay.
Oh.
Actually, no. Let me give you the show. Okay. I'll give you the show. The show was Boston Legal.
So
James Spader. No, it would be William Shatner.
They lost to Shatner.
Oh my god!
For his role,
he was fucking hilarious in that show.
Was that I mean, it was drama series was the category, so I guess it wasn't a comedy, but he was just a funny character. I've never seen a second.
Yeah, he was just a really kind of kooky older lawyer. Yeah. And just had always Denny Crane, would say his own name and was just this sort of blowhard. But that was actually the first few seasons of that show were actually really good.
I think he may have actually been playing a little bit of himself. I hear.
Yeah, it was very meta. It was very
kind of what he's like.
Yeah. Shatner's one of those actors. He's only really good at playing William Shatner.
Yeah.
Right.
No shame in losing to Shatner though.
Yeah.
It also got nominated again twice in the category for Outstanding Writing for a Drama Series. Abrams, Lindelof, and Jeffrey Lieber for the pilot, and David Fury for Walkabout.
Oh, well deserved. Well deserved.
It lost to an episode of House, written by David Shore. The episode was 3 stories. I don't know if you're.
Oh, that is a phenomenal fucking episode.
Yeah, it was a big House stan back in the day. That was kind of like when we were in uni. I was, because you hadn't watched Lost yet in first year. I would watch Lost every week, and you would watch House every week.
Funny. I was never a big fan of House. I am a big fan of Hugh Laurie, though. I think he's great.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of House either, but Hugh Laurie, he's
fun fact: Hugh Laurie was hired to play House because basically he was just this, straight white all-American actor, and they only discovered after they cast him, dude's not American yet.
He's British.
And I'm watching this, and I'm like, they literally just hired the dude from the 101 Dalmatians movie from back in the day. He's like one of the 2 thieves. The other one is the I forget the other actor's name, but he went on to play Arthur Weasley in the Harry Potter movies.
Oh yeah.
Along with pretty much every fucking British actor.
The last 2 Emmys it got nominated for were Outstanding Single Camera Sound Mixing for a series and Outstanding Sound Editing for a series. I could have easily looked this up, but it wasn't on Wikipedia who won those categories. So
who cares? Fuck it.
It was also nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Television Series, but it lost. Best Television Drama Series, but it lost to Nip Tuck.
Who
remembers that show?
I do. I watched at least the first few seasons. I saw that show. Yeah.
Watching the show again, a lot of times when I'm watching it now, I'll be watching it at my computer or something like that, and I've got headphones and good sound equipment and all that. And listening to the actual sound editing, it's still very, very impressive. I'm not sure at this point if everything they've done has been like remastered or whatever. My guess is that these things have gone through several sort of resheens on the sound and all that, but the editing is really, really top notch.
Yeah, I noticed it was especially apparent. I watched the deleted scenes from this season, and a lot of the deleted scenes, they're obviously included in the DVD, but they haven't done any sound editing on
yeah.
So you hear like the ocean in the background, or like you even hear people going like stand a little bit to the left. So like like making sure actors hit their marks and stuff. But yeah, no, it's really indicative of how much the sound editing does to make.
Or the entire time you see Harold Perrineau just running around going, "What?" And they're like, "Not now."
Yeah.
I think my favorite, not deleted scene, but my favorite blooper from season 1 was a scene where Michael, played by Harold Perrineau, is on the phone. I think he's in New York. He's standing on the sidewalk. He's on the phone to what's her name? Sarah?
Susan.
Thank you.
Evil Susan.
And he's like, "I'm coming for my boy. I'm gonna get Walt." And he kind of hangs up the payphone, walks away a little bit, but then he comes back, picks it back up, and says, "And you stink in bed."
That's awesome.
That's the scene where he looks the wrong way down a one-way street and then walks into a car.
What an idiot.
Before we started recording, we talked very briefly about the bloopers as well. And you said there was a funny thing with Daniel Day Kim.
Oh, there's actually 1 or 2 of them hilarious. Like Daniel Day Kim had to learn all of his Korean lines phonetically, I think, because he just wasn't great at them. And even Korean speakers have been documented online as saying that his accent is fucking it's shocking, apparently. But there's a couple of funny scenes where he's like jabbering away in Korean, and then all of a sudden he'll just stop and go, "Oh shit, I pronounced that wrong. Wait, hang on, what?" And it's so jarring to hear him switch from rapid Korean into English.
Right.
And especially like when his accent is just so heavily American.
Yeah.
It like you're just not expecting it, because especially if you're not familiar with the actor, you just know him as the Korean guy on Lost. So to hear him switch.
He hadn't done stuff where he was like, would have been recognizable. Like since then, he's done it's like Hawaii 5-0 and some other stuff. But the first time you get hit with that jarring experience is in season 2.
I so remember the scene.
It's a dream sequence, right?
He's dressed like a chicken, and and it's Hurley's, and he's like, "Have a cluckety cluck day, Hurley."
And funny enough, the song that's playing in the background, I have it on one of my playlists on Spotify. It's called it's like My Conversation or Good Conversation by the Uniques, and it's just this weird twinkly kind of piano piece that's played in the background, do 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 do, and it's like Hurley having a hallucination or something. It's one of my all-time favorite scenes in the entire show.
It's episode 4, I think. Everyone Hates Hugo.
I can't.
Yeah,
got it all ahead of us, Ada.
I'm so happy to hear you say it's so early in the season. I can't wait till we get to it, because I often find that all my favorite scenes are not the big bombastic season openers or season closers or the death of a character. They're always like these little mundane scenes that no one else would pay any fucking attention to, but just there's always a moment in them that just sticks with me. And I love it. Usually it's something humorous. I'm a sucker for a good joke or something played for humor.
You guys, so you haven't started recording season 2, right? And we're finished.
No. How organized do you think we are?
No. we want a summer.
Yeah, we learned a few things with our first 2 podcasts. But yeah, we record once a month and we do 3 episodes a day. And so we have season 2 completely done or completely recorded. Technically, the podcast is on a hiatus right now. We come back with season 2 May 18th. But yeah, so we'll start recording season 3 in July.
Nice.
So I'm psyched for that too. Yeah.
Sweet.
Lovely.
While we're still sort of on the topic of Daniel Day Kim, and I have been wanting to bring this up for ages on the podcast, but there was just never a good time to do it. So why not do it now? One of my favorite sitcoms of all time is a show called Community. Have you guys watched it?
I've not watched it.
I've had a lot of seen it. I'm familiar with it, but I haven't.
Highly recommended. Just there's this little scene in the first season where Abed, one of the characters, is directing a movie and he's directing this kid, and the kid throws a tantrum on set, and then he comes back and he says I'm sorry, I lost my cool. I just recently quit smoking. Right, and this kid's 10 years old, and he walks off, and Abed turns to another character, and he's like, that kid's gonna be huge. He's like a young Asian guy from Lost. We can cut that out. I don't know if I needed to talk about that.
Too funny.
So speaking of Lost in My 40s, I was wondering if you guys could let our listeners tell our listeners a little bit about the segments you do on the show, because we kind of just have our email and our free skate discussion and synopsis of the episode, and then we do trivia at the end. But you guys do some fun stuff on your podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So the format of the podcast, when we come in, the first thing we do is always Ben updates us on our power rankings. We can tell you how that works in a sec. And then we go through the episode, and after that, I have a little segment called Fun Facts. Sometimes they're about the show. Most of the times I pull something from an episode that random, and then we explore that. At the end of season 1, we talk about dynamite, what dynamite has the capabilities of doing, and stuff like that. So then
Dynamite, Gilgamesh,
Yes, the Epic of Gilgamesh. Yeah. I think that's season 2 though, Hen. They're blending in now, now that we've recorded 2. But so then we do best and worst moments in the show, everyone. And then we do our power rankings. So we have a spreadsheet that Ben built for us that we rank our characters, top 3, bottom 3, and then we always fuck and kill a character. You are allowed to fuck 2. I like to have threesomes. And so I
sign me the fuck up. I am here for this.
Hurley, Charlie, Eiffel Tower. Let's go.
Boom.
I believe in season 1,
Dutch lever action.
I did bang Jack and Locke on top of the hatch. That was definitely one that I did. So the points, you get points if you're the best, extra points if you're fucked, you lose points if you're the worst, you lose points if you're killed, and we just keep track of them. And the end of season 1, let's see, our top characters were Kate, Locke, and Jack.
Is this for fucking?
Well, no, this is for the whole thing, but the reason Kate was so high up is because we just constantly fucked her. Everyone fucked her.
She fucked her way to the top.
Wore her out.
And the funny thing is she ended with 169 points, and we were like, nice. So, and then who were our bottom 3?
Ethan,
and Shannon.
Yeah, I think so.
We're the bottom 3 characters. And yeah, so we have fun with that. And then we always do just final Ben will update us again on the rankings. And then we do final impressions at the end of just what we thought of the episode. And it always ends with Derek's final impressions and then Derek's like lasting questions from that episode. Nice. Sometimes I tease him and say, "Ooh, you'll find that out," or "That's going to take a long time," or whatever, but that's essentially it.
I think it's also interesting how the top and bottom 3 characters thing, how it sort of morphed a little bit, because it used to just be like whoever were the good virtuous characters or whatever, those were the favorites, and whoever were the bad characters were at the bottom. But when they start introducing characters that are bad, but you like them,
well, you're talking about season 2, like don't give it away.
Henry Gale, things like that, where it's like,
just Marley ambiguous.
Like I'm just like, this guy's a badass actor, right. And his performances are great, so he's on the top, even though he's creepy and all that. So it's fun. It's fun to have that. Now it's more a reflection of like who are our favorite characters, more than like who are the ones that are a benefit or a boon on the island.
Right. And then at the end of season 2, at the end of every season, we do a little special bonus episode of like theories and questions. And I talk about some of the pervasive theories at the time. We talk about what Derek's questions are, if he has any theories. We just finished recording season 2. At the end of season 2, we put together an aggregate score. We wipe the scores clean every season because there's such a cast change. But just for fun, we put an aggregate score of the main characters denoted by anyone that has an episode. And so we talk about that. We do top 5 and bottom 5. I can't tell you who, because that hasn't aired yet. So
those are sort of the bones and organs of the podcast. But the connective tissue that we use to kind of keep it all together is really just sophomoric humor and puns.
Love it. That's what I'm here for.
Well, you can come to us for Shy Talk. Go to Lost in My 40s for actual, structure and well thought out, well planned podcast.
And dick and fart jokes.
Dick and fart. We decided somewhere during season 1 that like roughly 35% of our content is about fucking or masturbation.
Just aberrant sexual behavior.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry to your moms who listen. I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say that that seems like a solid overlap with our podcast, in fairness.
Well, there we go.
Content.
35%. We're actually trying to up that number. So
the rookie number.
That's not a passing grade in Ireland. Okay, well, in honor of you guys and also having slightly misremembered your segment, I've prepared a few fuck, marry, kills from some characters in season 1. I've got 6 of them, so I'm gonna just dish out 2 each. So Lacy, I'll start with you, okay? So your first, I'll start pretty simple. Your first fuck, marry, kill is Hurley, Charlie, and Boone.
I marry Hurley, fuck Charlie, kill Boone.
Nice. Do you want to elaborate on the reason for any of those? You don't have to do all of them, and nobody's.
Hurley is a hilarious. If I'm going by the characters, right? Hurley, he's a hilarious sweetheart and just all around good guy. I think he'd make a good husband. Charlie's a rock star, so obviously I'm gonna bang him and then move on. And Boone fucking sucks. So
Boone's days are numbered anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly.
He runs a business.
Right? All right, Ben, we'll go for you next. Fuck, marry, kill Rousseau, Ethan, and Leslie Arzt.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, these get difficult pretty quickly.
Let's see. One more time. We had
Rousseau,
Ethan,
and Arzt.
Well, I guess I'd have to marry Rousseau. She's resourceful and female, and being heterosexual. So, who would I kill? I'd probably kill Arzt, because I probably could if I tried to kill Ethan. He'd kill me. You never know. Ethan's sexuality is sort of never really called into question. So, I guess I'd try to fuck him.
Nice.
I would climb that man and call him.
He's Tom Cruise's cousin. So.
I was gonna say you might have an in with Cruise then.
Yeah, exactly. That might be how I get to my next level of towards Xenu.
That might be how you jump on Oprah's couch at some point.
Holy shit! If those are the options you gave Ben, I am terrified.
All right,
yeah, that was a layup for Lacy.
Ado, I call this round the prick special. All right.
Woo! I want that round.
Okay, I can switch them around if you want. Do you want to take?
No, I'm kidding.
Because the next.
No, I'm kidding. I like chicks too. It's fine.
Okay. All right, Ado. Eddie Mars, Randy Nations, Anthony Cooper.
Oh, this could not be easier.
All right, I just want to really quickly remind people because a couple of these are one-off characters. Eddie Mars is the marshal that had Kate in handcuffs. Randy Nations is Locke's prick boss in his flashbacks and walkabout, and Anthony Cooper is Locke's dad.
All right,
all his kidney.
I'm gonna be real obvious in this one. Obviously, kill Randy.
Of course.
I feel like that is not a.
Is it just the Caesar cut?
Do you know what? It's not even just the Caesar cut. And I say it's not just the Caesar cut. That is definitely a part of it. The attitude accounts for about 40%. I'm going to say the Caesar cut is another 20.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is that fucking mustache. It is one of the most disgusting things I have. That dude, no, straight away kill him. I am going to marry Anthony Cooper. Look at the house he lives in.
He's rich, baby. Hell yeah.
Rich motherfucker. And then obviously, do you know what? When you first listed these three characters, in my mind, I picked the one I wanted to fuck first of all, because I'm a horny motherfucker rocking a chub at all times. So Eddie Mars, straight up, because look at that dude. What is he, an FBI agent? He is fit. He is ready.
He's a marshal.
He's a marshal.
That's two different things.
He's an agent of the courts.
Exactly. Yeah. He looks like he could teach me a few things in the bedroom because I'm about as vanilla as they get. My idea of kinky is doggy style with the lights on. So this guy could definitely teach me a thing or two, you know?
I want to stand in solidarity with you there. In a world of like moving away from kink shaming, no one is more kink shamed than those with the lack of kinks. Vanillas unite.
All
right.
I hear you.
So I've met Mr. Cooper. I don't know if you guys listened to that episode.
Oh,
but,
wow.
If anybody wants to hear about how I met Mr. Cooper, you can listen to season 1, episode 19, Deus Ex Machina of Lost in My 40s.
Amazing.
In there.
Do you want to give us like a quick context? If there's a story, if there's a story, people will have to listen to your pod, but give us a quick context.
No. Okay, fine. If you don't want to listen to the pod, I'll give you the very short version. And that is, I was a delegate for Obama when he was running the first time, as was the actor who plays Mr. Cooper. And I met him in a hotel party for Democrats at the state convention. And he lives in the Skagit Valley, which is just north of Seattle. And that's where I was living. And so we were neighbors. And that's where we met. And I chatted with him. And it took me a while to realize who he was because it was so out of context. And we were standing in like a group of people and I was drunk and he was just standing there and I'm kind of staring at him. He must have thought I was like weird. And the second he spoke, I like drunkenly blurted out, "Oh shit, you're on Lost." And and he was like, yes, I am. And then allowed me to talk to him and kind of pick his brain about the show. Nice. And it was wild.
Oh, that's so nice.
And this was in 2008. So he was like on the show and the show was on.
Was he a lovely man?
Yeah, it was neat. Oh, absolutely. Oh, he was totally nice. And I mean, I could tell the look on his face once I blurted out, "You're on Lost." He was like, "Oh, here we go." But he indulged me and was very nice. I spoke to him for, 15 minutes or something before I started to feel like I was being creepy. And I thanked him and then went on my way.
The actor's name is Kevin Teague, or maybe it's Kevin Teague. I'm not really sure how it's pronounced. And as nice as he was,
Teague. It's just Ty.
It's just pronounced Ty.
Oh, Ty.
Yep,
okay.
Ty.
And I bet as nice as he was, you still kept an eye on your kidney the whole time.
Maybe.
You had the bathtub full of ice ready upstairs, just in case.
All right, Lacy. It was at this point in making these Fuck, Marry, Kills that I realized Rousseau was the only woman I had on the list. And like most of the female cast are like conventionally attractive, and I was already starting to make these more difficult. So I call this the lady round.
I'm happy with 3 dicks. Oh, this is the lady round. Got it.
Okay. And I had to scrape the barrel. I didn't want to pick any more main cast, right?
Oh boy. Okay.
Fuck, marry, kill. Susan Lloyd.
Kill.
Oh yeah, I knew that one.
Let me finish. Although you know what. With the other 2, I think you're gonna. You probably still will kill Susan. Susan Lloyd, Carmen Reyes, who is Hurley's mother, and Mrs. Toomey, the horribly Australian accented.
Oh yeah,
Sam Toomey.
No, okay.
The jelly beans lady.
The numbers.
Okay, so I'm still gonna kill Susan because she is a horrid fucking bitch. I'm gonna fuck the Australian lady because I could only listen to her for that long.
Yeah, yep. Be quick.
And I'm gonna marry Hurley's mom because I think she'd keep a nice house.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I think that works out. Here's some trivia for you. Did you know that that actress that plays Carmen Reyes and the actress that plays Nadia, who also shows up in season 1, are the only 2 off-island actors to appear in every season?
What?
I was not aware. Every season.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro,
Awesome.
we need to up our trivia game. This is juicy.
You're getting showing up here. Also with Mrs. Toomey, your fuck choice, you got the added bonus of doing some kinky shit with her fake leg.
Oh my god.
Nice.
I'm into it.
My
Let's
imagination runs wild.
All right, Benjamin.
Yes.
We got, I call this the red shirt special. Okay. So fuck, marry, kill. You're not going to like me for this one. Sullivan.
Oh boy.
Do you remember Sullivan? He was the hypochondriac guy.
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah. Yep, I do.
So,
the guy wants to play golf.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Sullivan, Scott, or Steve. Yeah, if you want to plead the fifth on that one, you can, because Scott and Steve are actual characters.
That's fine. Let's see. I'm gonna kill Sullivan because he was on his way out anyway. For Scott and Steve, they're so interchangeable.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna, all of us, we're gonna get into a death threesome.
Ooh.
Yeah. Wow. Perfect answer to an imperfect question.
All right. I do remember that we all killed the hypochondriac, like when he shows up in the episode. Yeah. All of us in our fuck kill, we were like, "Fuck, kill that guy. He's annoying."
People in the U.S. we abhor weakness.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it!
Kill that guy before a strong breeze does.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
All right, Ado.
Hit me.
Last one, and I you can tell I really tried to fuck Ado over on these, right?
Go on.
Fuck, marry, kill. Liam Pace, who's Charlie's brother.
Ooh.
Mr. Pike.
Ooh.
Oh.
His son's dad. And Ray Mullen. Our boy. Ray Mullen is the Australian that took Kate in her episode and then promptly ratted her out to the feds.
Ratted her out.
We have some leg kink opportunities there too.
Oh,
right?
true.
Oh,
yeah. What is with this? What is
no, it's his arm. She pulls his arm off out of the
lefty
car. Yeah.
He may have ratted her, but we are pro Ray Mullen on this podcast. We stand Ray Mullen.
All right.
Go ahead, Amy.
Wait, hold on. Ray Mullen, and then who were the other two again?
Liam Pace and Mr. Pike.
Oh, Mr. Pike. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna marry. First of all, who do y'all think I want to marry in this trio?
Mr. Pike.
Ray Mullen, I reckon. Although
Ray Mullen.
Mr. Pike's got money though.
I think you want to marry Ray Mullen, kill Mr. Pike, and fuck Liam Pace.
Yeah, that would be my prediction as well.
Okay, so here was my predicament, because if I kill Mr. Pike, I'm gonna have men coming after me.
Great point.
I'm gonna have Korean mafia hunting me down.
Why don't you just ascend to the top? Then?
Yeah, well, it depends on how much of a hydra this thing is, right? Like if you cut one head, does another replace it, or have you sort of beheaded the entire organization?
I don't want to fuck Ray Mullen because with a fake arm, there's no Dutch lever opportunity.
That is how you do a callback, ladies and gentlemen.
This is of significant importance to me. So
it's good to know what you want.
So to keep him on my side, I'm going to marry Mr. Pike, right?
Wow.
I am going to fuck Liam Pace. I'm sorry, Ray, but by process of elimination, I do get to keep his arm afterwards, though, because I do want to try out some kinky shit with that.
Like a trophy?
Yeah.
So you're gonna kill Ray Mullen?
Wow.
Yeah, I am gonna kill Mr. Mullen.
You're gonna beat him to death with his fake arm.
Oh my God.
So you're gonna kill him first before you have a threesome, or before you have sex with Liam Pace, but you can use his arm for some sort of augmented Dutch lever action.
Hey, listen, I used both my brain cells already in deciding the order on this.
Oh
don't ask me to apply logic to it.
You know what would be really nice is to have the ring bearer carry up the wedding rings for you and Mr. Pike in Ray Mullen's hand. As a tribute to our fallen soldier.
Is it weird? As soon as you said the word ring bearer, I just had Charlie in my head as a
Me
hobbit. Carrying the ring.
Oh, what a lovely segue to plug our Lord of the Rings podcast once again, coming this September-ish, I want to say. All right, guys, I'm running out of segments here, but I'll just ask you the last few things like rapid fire. So, top of your head, best and worst episodes of the season. Let's start with Lacy.
Okay. Best episode of season 1 is Walkabout. I think it's when, if you weren't already hooked, you get hooked in Walkabout. That's the first inkling, other than the noise of the monster. It's the first inkling that this island is affecting the people that are on it. And it makes you like, what the fuck? And so that I think is the best. The worst episode is number 12, whatever the case may be. It is just so ridiculous and it does nothing for the story. And there's this part where Kate like makes out with somebody in the middle of a bank robbery and it forever pisses me off because it's the dumbest thing that could ever happen during a bank robbery. And it just has the worst episode in my opinion.
Let me put this to the forum. Has anyone not got whatever the case may be as their worst episode?
God damn it. This is why I'm regretting volunteering to go last.
I mean, I anticipated Walkabout being a favorite, so I intentionally, like, I think it is kind of the objectively the best episode. Maybe the finale as well, Exodus. But I picked a couple of honorable mentions because I knew Walkabout would be talked about. Yeah. But yeah, I think we're all in agreement, right? That whatever the case may be, fucking sucks ass.
It's a turd.
It does suck. Yeah. I know Ben has a different favorite. I don't know what your worst is, but I know his favorite.
You remove whatever the case may be from the season, and the only thing that changes is that they don't have a gun case anymore. Now that does affect stories going forward, but they easily could have got that another way. Okay, Ben, let's move on to you then. What is your favorite episode of the season?
My favorite is The Moth, episode 7.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
I'm not typically a Charlie fan. I think he's kind of like he starts off as a strong character and turns into a petulant little shit for a lot of season 1 and 2.
He redeems himself in season 3. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the stories of metamorphosis and the symbolism operating on multiple levels in that like, you know, from him showing the actual moth in its stage to him, you know, crawling out of the cave after the cave, and the fact that he does I'm a bloody rock god. Like, there's so many moments that are just fucking great in that episode. I absolutely love that episode.
When we discussed that episode, Ben, we kind of criticized it for the cave-in that episode. I believe Ado called it manufactured drama. Do you have any defense for that, for the cave-in?
Well, if Michael knew what he was doing, that cave-in would have never happened. But yeah, I mean,
ooh, shade.
Yeah. If he would have just started making shoes earlier, everyone on the island would have been better off. Yeah, I mean,
oh, sorry guys, that's a running joke on Lost in My 40s. Is that there's no cobbler on the island?
I'm like Captain America here. I understood that reference.
For those who didn't, that's what he's referencing. Is we want Michael to be a cobbler because he's good for nothing else in season 1. But
yeah, there's several things in there that didn't have to happen. You know, like, you know, resetting Jack's leg or whatever from when he dislocated it. Some of that stuff was just sort of tossed in there and not really necessary. But I also feel like they needed to, you know, being in a cave-in would be pitch black, suffocating, and terrifying, and you really, really can't get that without doing sort of like a, you know, first person reality kind of terror scene. So I feel like they had to camp it up a little bit to sell it, but yeah.
Nice. Well defended. And then whatever the case may be for the shittiest. Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. It was so bad.
Okay. Yeah. Ado, do you have a favorite episode?
I'm so glad that I do have a favorite episode that is different to everyone else's. And when I tell you what it is, you're not going to be surprised. You can probably imagine what it is already. And that is Numbers. Hurley's episode.
Yeah.
That would be my third favorite. Yeah.
Because Jorge Garcia's comedic timing, his body language, everything in that episode is just so perfect and resonates with me. I love it. That and the fact that it hammers home the mystery of the numbers, which is my favorite ongoing mystery throughout the whole show. And even after I finished the entirety of Lost, I still wasn't 100% sure what the numbers were about. And I do now know, thanks to Dave, you know, the whole reason for the numbers, the lore explanation for them. I get that. And I kind of wish that I didn't, because it kind of removes a sense of mystery about them. And it's the mystery that keeps me going. But yeah, definitely Numbers by far and away my favorite. Now, with regards to least favorite, everyone said whatever the case may be. We're all in agreement. Dog shit episode, right? If I had to pick a different one, I am going to go with probably the immediately preceding one, which is In Translation.
Oh,
really?
The Gin episode.
No. Immediately preceding, whatever the case may be, is All the Best Cowboys Have Daddy.
Oh,
Issues.
sorry. No, I meant preceding Numbers.
Sorry.
No. I did not make that clear. That's my brain working differently to everyone else's. In Translation would probably be my next least favorite. I couldn't give you a definitive reason why. I mean, it's interesting, it's engaging, and this really speaks to just how good and solid season 1 is, that it's so difficult to pick out a least favorite episode that is not whatever the case may be.
It's really interesting you say that, because I held In Translation up as my best episode.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I loved that episode. I thought the drama with Sun and Jin was melodramatic, but it wasn't overdone. I guess it was dramatic, but not melodramatic. I guess there's an argument to make that it didn't really progress the overall narrative of the series.
No.
But it does, though. But it does, because it gives you the other half of the story that you get in House of the Rising Sun.
True.
And what it does is it sets up their relationship and the way that it functions through the rest of the show. It sets up the fact that they're not communicating correctly, that they live in different realities, and so I think it does further that plot, at least.
I mean, sure, I get that, but if I were to try and justify why I didn't like the episode, I mean, I do like the episode. I like nearly fucking all of them. But if I were to give some sort of an explanation as to why I'm picking this as my least favorite, it's probably because we don't like Jin before this episode. He's an abusive husband. He's only ever been a dick. And this episode feels as though it's trying hard to give us some sort of an explanation for his behavior, like to explain it away. And to me, it does a really bad job at it. It's like, no, I'm not forgiving him for all of that after this episode. I'm sorry, but no.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It does have the ending where Hurley's Discman runs out of batteries, though.
Is it that episode?
It's that episode, yeah.
That's great.
My other honorable mention was, and I think, maybe I prefer this episode to In Translation, the episode Solitary, where Saeed ends up in Rousseau's lair. Just a fucking fantastic episode.
And because I think you might ask it, or if we get there, that episode has my favorite off-island character of season 1, which is Nadia.
Oh, wow. Good choice.
Okay, so we can jump to that question then. I was going to ask
I'm good at transitions.
Segue queen. Let's just say off-island character then. Favorite off-island characters. Lacy, you said Nadia. Okay, what about you, Ben? Favorite off-island character?
Well, the projections of him do appear on the island. Christian Shepherd.
Yeah, I would say most of his action is off-island, because he's very present in flashbacks. And if the lore of the show is to be believed, he doesn't actually appear on the island. Not him, really.
Good point.
Why do you say Christian Shepherd?
Oh, I mean, I guess coming from a somewhat of a strained relationship with the father, it's got a special sort of meaning for me in one way, but also he's used as sort of a dynamo on Jack's storyline. He's used to unravel and sort of like uncover a lot of Jack's motivations. There's also just the sort of mystery of why the hell is he on the island? Where's the coffin? Where did the body go? All that kind of fun stuff. But also I think the actor does a really, really great job in that role. So every episode he's in is really interesting.
Nice.
Ooh, good answer. True. I like that.
Ada, favorite off-island character.
Favorite off-island character, I am going to go with, and I have put a little bit of thought into this since you asked the question all of about 20 seconds ago. I am going to go with, you might remember him, Richard Malkin.
Oh,
yeah. He was the psychic,
that's a good episode too.
Yeah, that whole episode I love, just how we were able to go through Claire's story. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the character of Richard Malkin, because once again, one of the reasons why I like Numbers as an episode was the mystery behind it. And this guy's motives are so unclear. Yeah. Like, he just totally changes his mind with regards to what Claire should do regarding the baby. Like, no, this baby is evil, but no, you need to be the one to raise it. And here's a plane ticket. And just the fact that, he's a psychic, or he's pretending to be a psychic, but does he actually have psychic powers? We don't know. And it's, leading up to maybe a future storyline, which I believe doesn't actually go anywhere. But we're only talking about it in the context of season 1, I believe.
My favorite off-island character is Sun's dog. Will not be explaining any further. All right.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, his name is Popo.
I was trying to think of one and I couldn't, so I'm just going to use that.
He's pretty cute.
Here's a question with some caveats, okay? So if you were to crash land on the island, I want you to pick 3 characters to join you, but you cannot pick Jack, Locke, or Saeed.
Okay.
What are they joining me to do? Are we going on an adventure? Or we're just living there? Or
survival. Let's say that.
Survival.
Well, I mean, survival, I guess, is your primary goal, but I mean, it's fine to pick Hurley just for laughs or whatever. Whatever
so
you
Jack,
think.
No Locke, and no Saeed.
This is season 1 characters.
Yeah, season 1, please. I would argue the 3 most capable characters, the Council of Legends, as they're known on this podcast.
Sawyer, Michael, and Vincent.
Nice. Excellent choice.
Do they had to have been on the plane?
I'm gonna say no.
No, I'm gonna say any character. So you could have fucking Mrs. Toomey on there if you want.
Kate, she's scrappy, she's resourceful, she's hot, so she's got a lot of things going for her. Then I will take probably Sun and Claire, because I'm just gonna have myself a little harem.
Nice.
All right, Lacy.
Kate, Danielle, Sawyer.
Nice. Nice.
Mm-hmm. That wraps up. I mean, it covers survival and sex.
Could I have taken Ana Lucia? Was she in the first
season?
Yeah,
you could have.
No. Oh, she does appear in the last episode.
She does.
You didn't take her. And actually, that's a great idea because she's a former cop. I'm going to take Ana Lucia, Charlie, because, he's got heroin on him.
I thought you were going to say the guitar.
The guitar too. All right.
You got guns and smack already. So
yeah, I mean, I'll get pretty bored. I'll need something to do. And last one, let's say, should have thought about this.
Go on, Mrs. Toomey. To talk a bit, the Nimbus.
The Nimbus.
Ana Lucia, Charlie, and then I want Ethan on my side so that I have an in with the others.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good survival thing too. That's why I want for Danielle.
Some thought into this
in the last 20 seconds.
Nice.
I would have picked Michael because he is building and all that type of stuff, but knowing the eventuality of his storyline, I'm not going to be able to abide him just running around screaming Walt all the time.
All right, guys. Well, I think we will wrap it up there. Thank you so much to Lacy and Ben from Lost in My 40s for joining us tonight.
Yay! We're glad to do it.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you. Thank you so much. Tell people where they can find your stuff and when season 3 of Lost in My 40s is airing.
Well, no, season 2.
All right, season 2.
We're starting to record season 3. Yeah, well, by the time this comes out, I'm imagining season 2 will be out. We're on hiatus right now, but we come back May 18th, and then it's every Wednesday, same as you guys, obviously. So we did this at the same time, and so yeah, you can also catch us on YouTube on May 17th for our first pre-show. We do have a video pre-show before each week that keeps our conversation current since we record so far ahead.
Nice.
And that's that.
Is it spacebearmedia.com for all your shows?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
You can find everything there, including the YouTube videos, and you can listen from the website and all that stuff.
Other podcasts as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Check that shit the fuck out. Thank you again, guys, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Ado, any last words?
I am bursting for a piss. Let's wrap this shit right up.
Thank you for listening.
Totally.
Take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Lost the Plot is produced by Dave and I. Artwork by Jimmy Purcell of BeanBetterComic.com. Music by Noel Brennan of No Exit. Check out No Exit wherever you stream your music. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LostThePlotLads or email us at losttheplotlads@gmail.com.